What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, new kind of angles for me, still working on some of the lighting. But if I look up here, it's because I'm talking to the audience. If I look down here, I'm probably listening to Kyle because he is below you, as it should be. I'm just kidding. Um, we're here for Shang-Chi. There's a giant spider just dangling right next to me. What the heck?
You know what that means? Spider-Man's coming up next.
Well, I better let this bad boy bite me, my guy. He's floating like right there. He's just barely off the screen. Oh, he's getting lower. Oh my God. Just gonna let him go into the trash.
This is the entertainment we give to our fans.
No, don't you go back up. Oh, he's in the trash. He's in the trash. We kill him with the Pringle can. What's going on, Movie Meals? We are here for the Shang-Chi review. Let's get into it here. I didn't know there was a freaking spider dangling. Get off me. All right, here we go.
Who would have known? Who would have known? Who would have known?
Thank you to Steve, Kimberly, and Karen and the Movie Meal patrons for making sure you tune in to see that every day. We're here, Shang-Chi. Go get some Movie Meals merch. All linked in the description. It's all down below. Letterbox, Twitters, all that great stuff. It's all down below. So go join it. Shang-Chi. Kyle over here gets to be all cool. And he's like, I saw Shang-Chi a week ago before it premiered. And I went yesterday like a peasant, 2 nights ago on Thursday. But yeah, let's get into it. Non-spoiler review. Kyle, what did you think of Shang-Chi?
Well, to add more insult to injury, Alex, it was really hard to not talk to you about this movie for a week because I thought this movie was great. I had a really great time with this movie because it's what Marvel is able to do. They're able to find ways to have their formula work, but at the same time add some new spin to things, give us new characters to really enjoy. And this movie was able to do just that. Director Justin Daniel Credin, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but he did a great job with this movie. I think he did a really great job in particular with the action sequences that were a lot of focus was on the martial arts, but with a movie like this that with a character that uses martial arts, you really need to have that in this movie. And on top of that, with the influences of Asian culture as well as Asian cinema in general, and I thought it was just a really great blend to include into the Marvel universe. And what I really liked was that we had some good characters that were enjoyable, and we want to see more from this story, particularly with Shang-Chi, who's played by Simu Liu. And he's great. I loved him in the show Kim's Convenience, which is a delightful show. But I thought he really stepped up to the plate on this one. I thought that he did a really good job playing a character who was more of a humble character, I would say, very modest. And I thought that really worked, and it was a really great switch up from other characters that are all very joke heavy or sarcastic. I thought this one was a really nice touch, and I was really impressed by his physicality as well, because that dude was able to make the martial arts look flawless. Like he and so many of the other people on that crew were able to make it look just like they've been doing it forever, like they knew what they were doing. And part of that is because the cinematography is really good, and just the choreography of this movie is really good. It just makes the movie exciting. It breathes new life into this universe, which is what we're always asking and what they're always able to deliver on. And one final note is I think the villain was also very good. He's played by Tony Leung. And while it's supposed to be the actual Mandarin, I don't think some audiences are expecting a more flawed human character. I think they're expecting more of the dictator type character that they were thinking of from the comics. But I think it really works in this movie, and it really adds another layer to Shang-Chi's character as well. I thought he's not one of my favorite villains, but he's definitely going to be up there on some of my favorites list. So really great job by those two actors, and Awkwafina too. She was really funny in this movie. I'm not the biggest fan of her. I like her in movies, but I haven't loved her except for maybe The Farewell. But here I thought she was really able to make me laugh. So
I think she's incredible in The Farewell.
Oh yeah, she's great.
So I loved this movie. Currently I put it on my Letterbox list, and I currently have it at number 10 of all the Marvel movies. I need to throw the shows in there because they have these shows as an offer, but I Loved this movie. I'm a big fan of martial arts movies. Karate Kid back in the day, the Raid 2. There's my Karate Kid symbol right there.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved it. I thought every single performance was knockout fantastic. There might be a few jokes here and there that just specifically didn't work for me, but overall, I found it incredibly funny. I thought it was very good MCU humor, the way they kind of handled it. I really liked the relationship between Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, if you've seen the movie, and uh, and Aquafina's character, Katie. It was so good. I really liked, the villain is, I think, one of the best MCU villains we've had. And I think, and I would, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I am coming from a very, specific viewpoint of who I am. But, from what I've understood, it's that, Asian culture is very deep heavy in your roots, who your family is, how important family is. And I really like that they did that, and it made for one of the best villains. I honestly think he's up there with Loki, Killmonger, and Thanos. I think he's
Hmm.
one of the best villains we've had. I think this is one of the best standalone Marvel movies we've had. um Honestly, like, I'm sitting here going, I liked it more than the first Cap. I think I liked it more than the first whole Thor. I like, it might be between this and Iron Man for me. I thought it was excellent. The fighting is
Wow.
incredible. They pay a lot of homage to um Asian cinema, and there are some shots. There's a specific shot from a specific movie that I don't want to give away, but I was freaking out in the theater when I saw that they were paying a little homage to it, because I was like, that's what they're doing. They're taking the first Asian Western superhero, big budget movie, and they're saying, hey, we can't forget where this came from, the history behind it. And I really liked that. A lot of the cinematography, I've heard people complaining that it looks like a CGI fest. I never got any of that. I thought it sometimes they were specifically designing the animation to look more like traditional Asian paintings at times. I was like that,
Hmm.
especially in the final fight. There's a moment I was like, that is a painting. I am looking at a painting right now. I thought it was just that
Hmm.
good. The fighting might be the best in the MCU. I think it legitimately is saying to Winter Soldier, how about you come, fight me now? Let's see what you got. Because it's in the trailer. The bus scene is fantastic. The fights at the end are great.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, without giving anything away, this movie is the 10 Rings. It's in the name. So obviously it's going to have some sort of connection to Iron Man 3, and it does. And I love what they do. Because I'm not a big fan of Iron Man 3, so I love the way it was handled. Um, and yeah, I freaking loved it. I loved the after credit scenes. I think it felt very first phase one MCU to me, the after credit scene where it was like, all right, here's your amazing standalone movie, and now you're part of something bigger, and gear up for it because it's coming. And I really liked that. It got me hyped. It got me really excited. I want him to be the new leader of the Avengers, put him in Cap's role. I want him to be the one to say Avengers Assemble. I think that would be awesome. I think if you get a little bit more of a, not an old man mentality that Cap had, and you get the young guy in there, I think that would be really fun. But yeah, I loved this movie. But Kyle, did you have any negatives?
I'll get this part out of the way since you mentioned it just recently. The connections to Iron Man 3 didn't quite work for me. I think in the story it makes sense, but at the same time, I don't know, maybe it felt underwhelming because I wasn't too sure going in if they were going to connect to Iron Man 3 or just wipe it away and forget about it. And while I do appreciate that they did, I don't know, it just felt odd. It didn't feel like the puzzle piece that was supposed to like fit well in the rest of the puzzle. It felt like it just was forcing itself to be part of something that everything else just wasn't. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just in the minority and I'm fine with that, but it just didn't quite work for me. So I was a little bit underwhelmed by that. Um, and while I do really like the character of Shang-Chi, I really liked how Simu Liu portrayed him. I think the writing for this character didn't give him all that much of a personality. Like he felt like he had to play the character as a straight man. And while I appreciated him doing that for the sake of making the character very modest, which I enjoyed, it just felt like more of a one note character where I was liking the character, but I want to love this character. And maybe I have a high bar with the characters of like Tony Stark, of Steve Rogers, of, just loving these characters and just being able to love them from the get-go and seeing them grow so much. So that could be it, but I don't know. For some reason, there was just something that I just wasn't able to fully connect as much as I wish I could, and I think that's definitely going to be something that I'm going to be in the minority for, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, that's just how I felt after watching the first movie, sorry, of watching this movie for the first time, because I'm hoping to go back and see this again.
I want to see it again too.
Totally. And then finally, I love the dynamic between Shang-Chi and Wenwu, but I wish there was more of it. Like I want that story to just like really focus so much on it, because I love that aspect of the story and their relationship so much, of, father and son, like trying to make amends, but at the same time just being so far apart in their viewpoints that it doesn't work, but they want it to work. And that's part of why I loved both Shang-Chi and Wenwu so much. Like they were just, both of them were flawed, but both of them were, honest, good people. And there was just really good dynamics throughout that I wish they could have pushed more, but it still worked for how this movie ended up being. But I just loved it so much. I wanted more.
Yeah, it's rare on movie meals. We have a big disagreement with our negatives because I am on the other end. I think his character was beautiful. I think he is a very tormented character, and you can see, he's, what he is hiding, his past and everything, and how it's being forced back onto him, and how he fights it, he resists it, and then he has to learn to overcome it. I think he goes on a very good hero's journey, which is hard to do in a one movie structure, because they really don't do it in a lot of the Marvel movies. Like I think you can argue that Cap doesn't really go on a hero's journey in the first movie. I think he does throughout many movies. Tony, I think, is rare, and T'Challa, I think, is rare that they both go on hero's journeys within their one movie. But
Yeah.
then they get expanded on later. And I think Shang-Chi is in that. I really loved the family dynamic. I loved everything about it. I thought it worked great. I thought everybody got a chance to shine. Everybody got a chance to be a part of something bigger. And for me, it really worked. The Iron Man 3 connections, I will say, I don't think it feels shoehorned in at all. I think it actually works pretty well for the writing. It's just maybe one or two jokes that results in that maybe didn't work for me. But then again, my biggest laugh in the whole movie only happened because of the connection to Iron Man 3. Honestly, I think my
Hmm.
two biggest laughs, um,
Wow.
because I was rolling on some of those jokes. And for me, I haven't felt, I'm kind of on the opposite end with when it comes to a movie like Guardians 2, where I feel that they got a little too hokey. And to me, this was very good, rein it back in. It felt very Iron Man style humor to me, this more younger, kind of cocky guy, but at the same time, he's learning to not be that. I really loved it. I love that where they take this. The after credit scene makes me so curious. It was the thing, I went with two friends and we were just, that was what we were talking about more than anything. It's like, what does this after credit scene mean? And we haven't had that in a
Yeah.
long time. We haven't had that. And I've missed those days where we sat theorizing, what is it going to be next? Where's it going to go? Because we haven't been there. So
Yeah.
I love this movie, but it's, we both clearly love the movie quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can't wait to see it again in theaters, and maybe I'll change my tune on some stuff. Maybe I won't. Same for you. But guys, you should go see this, and you should go see it in a theater. As long as you're being safe and protected, get vax, all that stuff. But if you can see it in a theater, I would highly recommend go seeing this in the movie theater. You got anything else?
No, I couldn't agree more.
All right. Well, guys, what did you think of the movie if you've seen it, or are you going to go see it? Comment below. Let us know. Do you think we're ridiculous? Do you agree with our takes? Where you stand? Remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. And as always, thank you for watching, Mom.
See you guys.
And thank you to the Movie Meal patrons. Goodbye.